It is 2 o'clock, so we will start the meeting. Prynhawn da I chi gyd. Good afternoon and welcome to this hybrid meeting of Education, Skills and Wellbeing Scrutiny Committee on the 1st of February 2024. I am Councillor Rebecca Phillips and I will be chairing this meeting. Just to make everyone aware, the meeting will be recorded. Please can you ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting and that your microphones are muted when not speaking. If members wish to speak or ask a question, please could you raise your electronic hands or physical hand in the council chamber. Also, for those in the chamber, please use your microphone when speaking. For the purpose of the next agenda item, which is declarations of interest, I can confirm that we have chosen to scrutinise Cabinet Board agenda items 7, 8, 9 and 13. Moving on to agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from members today based on the items we have chosen to scrutinise? Adam Mamo, please.
Diolch. Yeah, on item 8 in the Cabinet Board agenda, I've got a personal interest as a director of a business that does occasional work for the youth service.
Diolch yn fawr. Any other declarations of interest? I don't see any. Agenda item 3, the minutes of the previous meeting. You will see the minutes attached at pages 5 to 8 of the agenda pack. If you feel that these minutes are an accurate record of the meetings, can I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Diolch.
Second, Chair.
Diolch. If members feel, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that these minutes are approved.
I can see no indications to the contrary, Chair, so the minutes are approved.
Diolch yn fawr. Agenda item 4, Curriculum for Wales update. The report is here for information and is on pages 9 to 12 of the scrutiny agenda packs. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report, please?
No, thank you, Chair, but we're happy to take any questions.
Great. Diolch yn fawr. I'd now like to start with questions. Councillor Peter Rees, please.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, have we any data on how far the schools are implementing the curriculum, the new curriculum? And if so, how many schools are actually now falling behind? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Peter. All our schools are implementing the curriculum for Wales. What's different about it is there won't be any measure of progress of children in the way that we would previously understand. So there would be no measure as in the level of skill level that children would have in the way that we may have had previously. So all schools, certainly up to the age year 8, will be planning for and implementing the curriculum for Wales. Now, it's complex. Every school is at a different point and at a different level of development, but all schools are developing a shared understanding of what progress might look like and are implementing design within the framework, framework of the curriculum. So it looks different in every school, and there is, I know it sounds vague, but there is no right way of doing it. The children have to be moving towards the 4 purposes, and that will look different in every single school.
Councillor Rees, are you happy with that answer?
That's fine, yeah, that's fine, Chair. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you have any other questions on this item, please? No, I don't see any. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the report is for information, therefore we note the report. Thank you very much, officers. Agenda item 5, impact of energy prices on school budgets. The report is here for information and is on pages 13 to 16 of the papers. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report, please? I think we've got Rhiannon online.
Yes, I'm here, losing my cold. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, nothing to add other than this was a report that was requested by members. We've managed to pull together as much information as we can, not just on the costs, but also on the mitigating actions. And I'm happy to take any questions and hope I can answer them.
Thank you, Rhiannon. Members, do you have any questions, please? Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you, Chair. Rhiannon, apologies for not coming to you earlier on this one. I was wondering, on page 15 of the report, we've got the indication that 14 schools are proposed for PV and work is ongoing. Do we know what the timescale might be on that, or is that something that could be shared following the meeting? And also what the costs are and how they're being covered.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I don't know the detail. I know the detail in that I've seen a list of schools, and I understand that they're at the moment we're sort of on a desktop survey, and the schools have been identified because of where their location is, the style of roof they've got, whether the roof will bear the weight of of the panels and things like that. As far as I'm aware, because this work has been covered by colleagues in environment rather than education, I'm not aware of how far they've gone with it or whether the schools themselves have been notified yet. And I don't know about the funding either, and I think that's part of the feasibility work that's been going on. I can certainly check that out for you though, Councillor Reynolds, go back to my colleagues in environment and see if there's an update and pass it on.
Thank you.
To
that
members.
would be really helpful. And the mention of the additional posts as well, you know, how many and how funded. It's just, you know, it feels as though support and you know, getting the costs reduced in schools and getting them greener and more sustainable is vitally important. And you know, just, you know, I know money is short, resources are short, but wanted to make sure things were moving forward and just have the information on that. Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions on this item, please? Adam Moore, please. Diolch.
Diolch. I was just wondering if there's any data around meters or standing charges within schools. I'm a governor of a school in Talbot, and they've got about 5 meters and they pay about 140, 150 pound a day just on standing charges. I was just wondering if there's any, I know you've got some mitigating actions in here, and you know, some of them are on the habits and PV, but I was just wondering if there's anything that can be looked at, you know, in terms of the schools that stay, like this particular school I'm talking about is Slevera Broad Deal, where they've got 2 sites. So obviously you're going to get, you know, at least 2 meters there, but within the Slevera campus, you've got another 4 meters of 4 meter boxes and 4 standing charges, ranging between like, I think it's about £80 a day and £2 a day for one of them. But is that something that could be looked at to help sort of longer term the energy impact on schools?
Yes, I can certainly go back again to environment colleagues because they understand the technical reasons for that probably more than I will. The first thing that springs to mind with Slevera is the fact that we've done so much work there over the years that maybe there's, you know, meters have been left over there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but yeah, I certainly will go back to colleagues and see if I can get some clarity on that and let you know again, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you, Rhiannon. Any further questions, please? No, I don't see any. The report is for information, therefore we note the report. Diolch yn fawr. Agenda item 6, pre-decision scrutiny. We will now move to the Cabinet Board agenda for pre-decision scrutiny. The Scrutiny Committee members have decided to scrutinise items 7, 8, 9 and 13 on the Cabinet Board agenda. And starting with agenda item 7, the Standing Advisory Panel. The report is for decision and is on pages 9 to 16 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, would you like to add anything further, please?
No, thank you, Chair. Rachel's online to answer the difficult questions, and Mike and I are in the chamber if there's any easy ones.
Diolch yn fawr. I have Councillor Reynolds, please. Diolch.
I didn't have a question on this, I don't believe. This
Okay.
is this. Sorry, no, I'm on the wrong agenda item. No, I
This is the Standing Advisory Panel item.
No, I don't have a question on this, Chair. I didn't
Okay.
put my hand up for this. Thank you.
No problem. Councillor Wood, please.
Thanks, Chair. On the appendix 1, page 12 it is on my papers. It's got down the composition of the committee in terms of religions, etc. I just wondered what was the procedure for the recruitment to the committee, unless I've missed it on there somewhere. But you know, I've read through. I can't see any way of how we go about then recruiting and how we sort of disambiguate all the different groups within it. If somebody could answer that for me, thanks.
Hopefully, Rachel can.
Yes, certainly. Good afternoon. Many SACs, as they're called, Standing Advisory Councils, do it in various ways. But I think the main way and the way I would support it is, first of all, recognising the need within our county and locality to have those voices from across the traditions, religions and beliefs that are properly represented in the county. Having done that, I personally, as the support officer to the SAC, contact the head offices of the organisations. That way, I ask them for a true representative, a balanced representative, just not any person off the streets. Once we have a name, it is discussed in SAC and they introduce themselves, and then a group decision is made on their suitability, relevance and appropriateness to be part of Neath Talbot SAC. But the aim is to get, a broad range from all faiths and beliefs relevant to the county. Hopefully that helps with that one.
Chair, if I can just come back with one question then, because I noticed at the bottom of the list, it's got atheist. Now, I know, as I say, for the established, so to speak, religions, you will be able to contact, you know, a head office or an area sort of representation. But how do you go about recruiting an atheist specifically? Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Challenging is the answer to that one. It's one of those that we recognise has to be included in terms of the new legislation by Welsh Government for equality's purposes. Again, it's knowing those reputable atheist organisations and groups that have those balanced voices. And because of particularly my experience within this field, I know if you want to, the go-to safe bet people to question and ask, shall I say. But it's proper vetting as well, of course.
Thanks, Chair.
Diolch, thank you very much. Do we have any further questions, please, members? No, I don't see any. What are we? Yeah, the recommendations are listed on page 10 of the Cabinet Board Agenda Pack. Please, can I have a proposer and a seconder?
Propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain?
I can see no abstentions, Chair.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this decision is supported to Cabinet Board.
I can't see any indications to the contrary, Chair, so the recommendation is supported to Cabinet Board.
Diolch yn fawr. Cabinet Agenda Item 8, the Youth Service Update. The report is for monitoring and is on pages 17 to 36 of the Cabinet Board papers. Do officers have anything to add to the report, please?
No, thank you, Chair. There's some of us in the chamber and some online, I think, to answer any questions.
Great, diolch yn fawr. And Councillor Reynolds, please.
Thank you, Chair. As usual, Chris, the reports presented by you and your team are always upbeat and very positive in their focus. I just wonder though whether we have whether or not we still have shortages in being able to get qualified youth workers, particularly for the sessional work activities around there. And I was also looking in terms of the note on page 20 that Trebanos is the first Welsh medium club. wondering how that's going with participation. I know there are problems elsewhere in the voluntary sector getting engagement with young people through Welsh medium only, and just wondered how the Trebanos situation was going.
Hi, Councillor. Thanks for the question. In terms of the second question, yes, it is going very well. 173 contacts within Trebanos in terms of the youth club. Club membership has 29 boys and 16 girls, so we're really pleased with that. In terms of recruiting our staff, we always have some difficulty, but I think we're on track as it stands. So I think from recollection, there are 2 now that we are reopening in terms of youth clubs. We do have Paul and Leslie and Joel online in case they want to add to anything, but overall, things are going okay.
Chair, if I could also add, if that's okay, Councillor, to add to that as well, I do think we don't suffer as badly as some local authority youth services because we're very successful. And just recently getting the Gold Award as well, the standard there, we have got people that want to come and work with us, whether it's voluntary or permanent. The staff online may add something to it, but we'll always have a recruitment issue because of the nature of the job and the hours it keeps. But at the moment, we are trying to recruit as best we can.
Thank you very much. Joel, do you want to come in, Joel?
Yeah, it was just to mention that, like we say, the recruitment issue is something that's not just a localised issue, it's something that Wales-wide has been looked at as well. So I think it's good to understand that it's not just ourselves who are managing to reopen our clubs, and we are managing to recruit them. And the last 2 waves in particular have been very successful, and clubs have now reopened due to the re-engagement of people taking up part-time posts. But it is something that is being discussed nationally, because sometimes the expectation of the high level of qualification for sessional staff is quite difficult to attain. But it's good to know it's not just us, but we are quite ahead of the game, which is great.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, Joel. Obviously, I really welcome the youth club in Trebanos. It has made a massive difference to the community. So thank you, staff, for all your work on that. I was talking to the PCSO the other day, and it is making a difference on the ground. So thank you. And I just wanted to ask if there's any plans for further Welsh language youth groups in the county.
I think from my recollection, the last club that we opened was externally funded. So we'd like to open more, provided we've got the staff. We just have to look for extra cash, I guess, is the reality. And we know we're in the position we're in. We'd like to see lots more Welsh development generally. We're doing quite a lot in terms of marketing. And I've got lots of other bits here for you. We did a celebratory event last year, looking at the culture of the Welsh language, etc. So that was really good. So we are doing lots of different things. I think we took some young people to Llangranog, 13 young people who are Welsh speakers. So, as a youth service, we're trying our best to kind of make sure the Welsh development is there. Unfortunately, it is about having a bit more funding to kind of do it really longer term.
And also, Chair, to engage, we are engaging with high profile people. Like Bronwyn, for example, is supporting us in the musical development in the Welsh language. So we are trying to raise our profile in other areas as well, not just purely youth.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any further questions, please? Councillor Reynolds.
Just to ask, are there many clubs that run bilingually that you're aware of that have Welsh speaking workers and enable an integration of the languages at all?
Councillor, I'm really not sure about that. I don't know whether any of the others online will be able to help, but I can check otherwise, or Joel is coming in.
Yeah, if that's okay. One of my other hats I wear is to actually work and run one of the youth clubs within Neath. So one of the things that we are asked to do as staff within the youth clubs is to come up with one Welsh medium session or awareness raising session per month. So that could be anything from Welsh bingo through to Welsh twister, through to quizzes about Welsh heritage and culture. So we do try our best to have that as part of our planned sessions every single term. And as well as that, a lot of our young people who attend the club, if they come from the Welsh speaking clubs, we also then use those to help us in those sessions, because obviously as staff, myself in particular, I'm not a Welsh speaker, so it's fantastic that some of the kids from Slevera will do the Welsh words and the Welsh numbers for me, and it works out quite empowering for that, the young people to be involved in the club, and also for us to prioritise at least one session per month for the young people as well.
Fantastic. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you. Any further questions? No, I don't see any. The report is for noting, so thank you very much, officers, for that information and for all your work for the youth service. Moving on to agenda item 9, transport personnel travel budget update. The report is here for information. It's on pages 37 to 66 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Just to say that this is a follow-up report from one that we brought to you back in May last year, where we asked for approval to implement the personal travel budget. This is a report to explain how well it has gone so far. You can see for yourselves, the figures are in there and the data is in there. And I'm just happy to take any questions, Chair, if there are any.
Thank you very much. Councillor Reynolds, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is one where I did manage to get some questions to Rhiannon beforehand, because you know, when you're looking for details, sometimes it's the right thing to do. I did ask how many users, how the users were selected for personal travel budgets, and had the answer from Rhiannon that they're offered when no alternative travel routes are available, and they're trying to eliminate single occupancy. I'd like to go in further as to what happens about, you know, if there are no other routes, if the family involved or the carers involved don't want a personal travel budget, what's the sort of process then moving forward? How do we deal with that?
Yes, okay. Thank you, Councillor Reynolds. Basically, the travel assistance, the policy for travel assistance is, you know, parents don't get a choice. They get what we can do. We've got a duty to make sure that we give the best, the most cost-effective means of travel that we can, taking into account the needs of the child and the needs of of the family, and what we can do. So basically, the parents will be offered, if there is no alternative available, if there isn't another vehicle going in that way, the parents will be offered the PTB, the personal travel budget. They then come back and have discussions with us about how they can best use it. We don't have many parents who are unhappy with it. Most parents that we found have taken it up and have managed to make it work, because it's quite a flexible arrangement. There have been some who have taken it up and have done it for a little while and then found perhaps it hasn't suited them as much as they'd want to. But, you know, unfortunately, we can't just conjure up taxis, and we can't, you know, make allowances for people. They need to sort of try their best to do it. But we do have those discussions, and our officers work really hard to try and find a way around it with what we've got. In some cases, we've managed to find taxis going in the same way, for example. So it may not be going to the same school, but we've been able to make a diversion that hasn't costed anything, to pick another child up on the way and then, you know, gone to more than one school. That was one solution we found to one particular child in quite a remote area where we didn't really have much other options. So I think the answer is the PTB isn't. If it's offered, we will push as hard as we can to try and make sure that we support those parents to take up the PTB. But there are other options sometimes available to us if we have to use them.
Thank you, Rhiannon. I really understand, you know, what you're saying. However, you know, are we in a situation where any child is left because of, you know, difficulties, not able to get to school, or where attendance is failing?
Not necessarily children who are using the PTB. We are experiencing some children at the moment who are not in fact, at the biggest workload on our home to school travel assistance team is children who are not eligible. Parents find it very difficult to accept that they can't have what they want sometimes, you know. So yeah, we've had a lot of work going on around that. Not so much with the PTB. And now Deborah Holder-Phillips, who's our Education Transport Manager, is in the call. I don't know, Deb, if you've got anything to add to that, but if you have, feel free to join in. But I think that's the situation. A biggest workload is on people who are not eligible, who just won't accept it.
Yes, that's correct. Our biggest challenge, I would say, is people applying who don't come under our eligibility. Going back to the personal travel budgets, if parents say that they've got a lot of issues going on, obviously Rhiannon has said that we do our best to work with them. There are occasions where parents have thought they would have difficulties with the personal travel budget, so we've made other arrangements. For instance, schools have, with pupils with additional learning needs, the school have adapted the time that the child can go in, etc. There was one pupil with who needed an electric wheelchair, so the school accommodated a vehicle going in with electric wheelchair in different times, because it's always difficult to get a vehicle that's disability adapted. But then the parents found that was difficult because the timings that the school were able to offer didn't help them. So they actually went back to then accept the PTB. So I think it's a new type of travel assistance that we brought on board. Parents are a little bit suspicious in the beginning, but then they realise that how flexible the PTB can be. So for that family in particular, the electric wheelchair was left in the school, and then the parents chose to take the child themselves, but obviously they had the wheelchair at the school when the pupil arrived. So, you know, we have found, I would say, the positiveness of the personal travel budget, and the more we're offering it and the more flexible we're finding it, we can help parents come up with other solutions if they think that it's too difficult for them, because the whole point of the PTB is it has to be absolutely flexible.
Thank you very much. You've answered most of my questions, I think, through that.
Sorry, I just wanted to add as well that if parents, they can formally have a review of the suitability of the travel offer that they've received. So that's a formal process that goes to our travel group. So we go through all of what the parents say, the difficulties that they might or perceive that they're experiencing. We will then review the offer that we've made and obviously make a decision, so that they do have the opportunity of a formal process in the form of an appeal.
Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr. Councillor Peter Rees, please.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just ask how many families do we actually support on this scheme?
I believe it's 51 at the time of the report, Councillor Rees.
That's across the whole authority.
That's correct, yes, because the majority of pupils will be in shared vehicles. You know, there'll be buses going to mainstream schools and shared taxis or shared minibuses. So these 51 would otherwise have been in a single occupancy taxi. There was no other alternative. So, and I believe there's another, I think 17 that we're looking at now to transfer from a single occupancy taxi to a PTB. But obviously, you know, that's going to take a little bit of work. Because parents have had one offer, now we're giving them a different one, so that they haven't transferred automatically. That work will be going on now for the rest of the term.
Thanks, Rhiannon. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Are there any further questions, please, members? No, the report is for information, therefore we note the report. Diolch yn fawr. The pre-decision of public items is completed, and we'll move back to the scrutiny agenda. Agenda item 7, committee action log. This is a standing agenda item. The item is for noting unless members have questions. Agenda item 8, forward work plan 2023-24. This item is also just for noting unless members have any comments. Councillor Reynolds, please.
Thank you, Chair. On the 14th of March, we've got the pupil attendance updates. I'm aware there's been a thematic Estin inspection, which makes interesting reading, and I'm wondering if it would be useful for that to be circulated to members of the committee on attendance, as it makes links across things like travel budgets and issues with eligibility for travel, etc.
Thank you, Councillor Reynolds. Alison will arrange for that to go to members.
Chair, was actually going to be one of the appendix.
There we go. One step ahead as always. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you. Agenda item 9, urgent items. I have none. Agenda item 10, we will now need to consider the private items included on the Cabinet Board agenda. As you can see on the agenda, the private paragraph is there for everyone to read. Please, can I have a proposer and a seconder to move into private?
Proposed, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr. Can I please ask that any public or press in attendance now exit the meeting, and can the recording please be stopped?